Honest J. Nowak. Oh yeah.
A pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to the Legacy of Supers on HJN. So for today, I'd pretty much like to focus on some more villains, that of which are pretty much some of the more popular variety of villains out there, and I am in fact going to get started with Dr. Victor Freeze, also called Mr. Freeze. Again, a Batman villain that of course has gained a lot of popularity over the last few decades, and I can be sure the fact that Mr. Freeze is certainly going to have a lot of background information that I can talk about here to keep you fully occupied. So let's just get started by talking about Mr. Freeze's origin story. Dr. Victor Freeze was a cryogenic scientist who worked in a laboratory and fell in love with one Nora Freeze. But unfortunately, due to one certain disease, Freeze was forced to put Nora in cryogenic preservation until a cure could be found. An accident had occurred in the same lab that Victor was working at, and as a result of that, Freeze could no longer withstand temperatures that were above sub-zero environments. As a result of this, Mr. Freeze was born. What I could say for sure is that as a villain of the Batman, Mr. Freeze wears a suit, a refrigerator, if you will, that allows Freeze to survive within even normal temperature environments while still allowing the body to continue within sub-zero regimens. And of course, some of other weapons and varieties and skills that Mr. Freeze has includes a large freeze gun and a lot of ingenuity and creativity in many ways to try and go and outsmart the Batman in many ways. Being a scientist of cryogenics, of course, this was a huge deal because there hadn't been too many Batman foes that were skilled at using ice-based weapons or skills. So of course, this is pretty much when Mr. Freeze came into play. However, there is another villain out there that does in fact like to thrive in most winter-based environments. Most of the time. But I will talk more about that one soon, because in conclusion, Mr. Freeze is a pretty popular foe out there. Had a lot of appearances in Batman-related media, including The Adventures of Batman and Robin from 1968, the animated series from the early 90s, as well as The Batman 2004, and of course in the Batman Arkham series of video games, where Mr. Freeze's first appearance would be in Arkham City in 2011, and would be voiced by actor... Yeah, good old Maurice LaMarche. The same actor who we've known from a lot of series is out there way back in the day. Like Pinky and the Brain, and so on. It was great that Maurice LaMarche came back just to voice a Batman character. But who knows? If we'll ever see Mr. Freeze again, it kind of depends on what's going to happen here. Well, anyways, that's pretty much all I got for Mr. Freeze. Because tomorrow, I'm certainly going to be talking about a few other villains here and there. So if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.